All right, guys, let's take a look at the Alabama weather headlines here for this week. Fake fall, part two. We had one of these in late August with some record lows. No records this morning in central Alabama, but it was still cool, and we'll have these cool, pleasant nights the next several days. No rain for much of Alabama really through the weekend, but the 90s do return. So September is always an interesting month. We get a taste of both seasons. Summer's coming to an end, fall is trying to begin, and we are caught somewhere in between. Here's a look at the lows this morning from a regional standpoint. Montgomery 57, Dothan 63, Birmingham 58, Huntsville 59, and Mobile at 62. So some crisp fall air moving in. Here's where we stand now. And just a couple weeks ago, this map was inundated with upper 90s, some triple digits. So we're seeing the impact of these fronts that dive into the southeast this time of year, and some of these making it all the way to the Gulf are really improving those those tangible heat levels out there. We're 85 at Birmingham coming up on 4 o'clock, 85 in Tuscaloosa as well as Sylacauga. Demopolis is 86, no 90s in the state, and a few 70s in northwest Alabama. Here's a big deal too. We have easterly winds, and that's going to help promote some drier air and keep this cool air in place. Our humidity levels are highest in southeast Alabama, where those dew points are still closer to 70. Front, not quite that far south, but you get the idea. Dew points in the 50s, that's when you'll notice that dry air. So lows tonight, we're looking at anywhere from the upper 50s to the north of I-20, all the way up to the upper 60s down in the Wiregrass, but should feel pretty comfortable. High temperatures on Tuesday, again, all 80s. I think the 90s start to come back in a more frequent occurrence later in the week, really beyond Wednesday. So let's take a look at those late week temperatures. These are Thursday off the European model. Again, it's not the answer key, but you'll notice the highest heat levels will be in the western, southern part of the state. The further east you go, the closer you are to that wedge of cooler air, so likely going to stay a bit cooler there. Morning lows remain in the 60s, I think all week long. We might have an isolated 70-degree reading in a few spots. Warmest temperatures will be down in southeast Alabama, but again, even there, with dry air in place, you can still cool down. This time of year, compared to the solstice, we had 14 hours, 22 minutes of daylight back in June. Today, 12 hours, 30 minutes, give or take, depending on where you're at. So there's a lot less sunlight. We can warm up, but we have that much more time, 12 hours to cool. Plus the ground is really dry air, heats and cools readily. So that is basically the reasoning behind these big temperature swings. But 90s will be back for late in the week, and summer in the afternoon, fall in the mornings. So that goes through Sunday with really no chance of rain. Here's why. Moisture levels just stay contained. Again, northeasterly flow, you see that dry air over the Appalachians. That'll be pouring drier air into Alabama, the southeast, and that'll be the case the next several days. This is precipitable water is the actual term, but this is a look at the amount of water in the atmosphere. We don't really have instability. We don't have a front, so there's no forcing to create showers, any thunderstorms. So I expect much of the state to stay dry through Sunday. There's a look at the 7-day average rain totals. Only very, very trace amounts, maybe a tenth of an inch for Covington County. Maybe even into Coffee or Dale, Geneva County, but any sea breeze storms will stay right along the immediate coast, so rain's not a big factor. Neither are the tropics. Boy, I don't remember the last time September, at this point in the year, which is the height of the tropical season, we're approaching it, and I think it's officially September 11th, but it's just quiet. I mean, you have tropical waves, but you've got this dry air in the central Atlantic that's really keeping anything from developing. So there's our named storms so far this year, and hopefully this is as far down the list as we can go, though a tropical depression late in the season can sometimes bring some needed rain to the southeast. We're not going to wish anything into existence. So one reminder on our tropical climatology mall map here, we are still a good ways away from the end of the season. In fact, we're coming up on the peak of the season. All the more reason why this is so odd that we've really got nothing to watch. But of course, as always, we'll watch it vigilantly. It's a good thing that it is all quiet for the time being and really quiet across central Alabama. We can put it on cruise control this week, a few 90s. That's the only blemish. I think things are going just fine. So that's your forecast for this Monday, September 8th. Hope you all have a wonderful day.